I was enamored by the process that we went through.
I feel like OS was stepping out of a smaller circle into something bigger.
OS has radically changed how we process, how we perceive, and how we even view ministry.
So often churches are led either by the latest book or the latest fad or the latest idea.
I learnt how to think, to attend before asserting.
Regardless of whether I was working, living in Africa or living in Ocean Grove, has been a capacity to actually think well.
I feel like OS has given me a lot of room to ask questions and to not be afraid of where those questions might lead me.
The questions that were asked 20 years ago are no longer the questions that people are asking. And so I think what this course is doing is it's teaching me with my community how to ask the right question and then to come to the best answer and not have this idea that we have to come up with the right answer, which is the final answer.
Leading in this culture, in this generation, it has equipped me to, I can't even say answer the right questions, but to ask the right questions.
The curriculum and the pace of it, it just helped open my mental atmosphere.
Particularly the model that we learned around wrestling with the emerging question and considering traditional answers, coming to some sort of practice-laden theory, and then putting that theory into practice in the context in which we find ourselves. And that has helped me.
The emerging question, asking it, trying to answer it, then going back, the practice of our theology, walking out what it was that we said we believed in.
Every single module has been so uniquely fashioned that it did not only challenge but enlarge and envision us.
What we have done in two church settings in which I've been a senior minister is to adopt the 6 units of study that we undertake in the OS program as the framework for structuring our church organisationally.
The learning technology, I think, is unparalleled.
Everything was impactful, from the literature reviews to the group projects to the thoughtful practitioners to the major paper.
A combination of cohorts and readings and modular learning.
The way that the OS seminary was structured, through conversation, through discussion, through lecture, through exposure, was monumental in my personal spiritual development.
I think the most transformational part of the entire seminary training was that each module required us to do some spiritual formation right in the beginning before we actually got into the content of the module.
The breadth of different voices and theological opinions that I was exposed to on such a breadth of subjects was really compelling.
I got exposed to lots of extraordinary theologians and great minds during my time in Open Seminary.
Open Seminary bridged the gap between what I knew, what I didn't know, and what I thought I knew but really didn't.
Not only did it open up my ideas and perceptions of Scripture, it also sent me on a journey.
It really opened up the breadth of Christian teaching for me and showed me things from another perspective and from other traditions.
Not just the breadth, I think also the depth of internalizing that information through cohorts where we got to discuss what we felt with other people.
The Open Seminary has allowed me to use technology to actually join into a virtual community to study with my cohorts, those of which who are all around the world.
The success is actually in the wrestle and wrestling out really valuable questions that really help us to grow as individuals.
The residency was transformational for me. I thought experiencing ministry the way we did during the residency training really brought home everything that we studied in the classroom, everything that we had read, everything that we wrote about.
The intensive weeks were always a highlight for me, the time spent with Vaynant and with other practitioners.
And I think it also gave God a chance to really show us some things that can't be learned by just reading or hearing someone else teach you about it.
And then finally, through articulating all of this in a personal paper for each module, was really helpful for me in my journey.
The methodology of Open Seminary really gave us the capacity to reach our own convictions before God and lead the church, I think, in some great directions.
I'm using already all that I'm learning, and the skills that I've learnt of research and of using the practical theology system. I can address new issues, new pastoral concerns, following a sound theological, practical theological format. It's so enriching and so practical that it adds such a richness to our ministry that I just don't want it to stop.